Image so grainy. Bye, sweetie.
Bye, my love.
Right. Feel free to come on, sweetie.
Okay.
Yes. Here we go. Oh wow, this image is so grainy. Because we had dinner with the grandparents, and I had to bring in some washing that I put out on the line. And so I went out to get the washing. I left the kids in the house, and my Zoom H1 recorder, which I use a lot for my production, I had left it on the table because I took it out with me in the car so that I could record some of my thoughts and things going on. I brought it back into the house when the kids were with the grandparents, and I left it on the table. So the kids are used to seeing it around anyway, especially my son. He's like, oh no, can I record my voice? And what happened was I left it on the table. They came in, I went to get the washing off the line, and then I heard my son say, Mummy, we've spoiled your thing. And I'm like, what thing? I was just hoping it was just something, something just random. And I came in to find this. Pulled off, and the wire hanging out. Let's see if you can see that now. Let's see. Whoa. Let's see if we can get that in there. So there's the wire hanging out, loose. And this is the other. Okay, let's just get this lighting sorted out. I think that's okay. So, yes, I've got this, and now I've got this with the wire hanging out as well. And there's a little tiny thread there sticking out. There you go, look. And the other bit's not. So, yeah, this is something that I use a lot. I use this a lot. And now it's broken. Hi, Peninya. Oh, hi to see you. Yes, you're the first here, and I saw you earlier on. Do some stuff during the day. I don't know what time it is where you are, but here it is 8:50, so it's getting late. I was just talking about what to do when things go wrong. How do you change your mindset? How do you reframe yourself so that you don't get taken over by that thing? So I went. Oh, is it? Oh, where are you, by the way? It's the same time. Let's see, because we're on the equator, but we are on the east coast of Africa. So you must be somewhere like in Europe, somewhere in Europe? Oh, Saudi Arabia. I'm in Uganda. Ah, you're in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we're on the same line. So yes, I was talking about, so the kids came in, I brought the washing from the line, I left them in the house just for a few moments, and I had my production thing. Hey, Zobo Queen, hi Zobo Queen. So I left my washing on the line, I brought my washing in, I put the kids in the house, we've had dinner with the grandparents, hey, and this is what I found. Now this is a piece of kit that I use a lot. It's called the Zoom H1. And it's really handy because you can put it in the pocket. Simi, you'll probably identify with what I'm talking about. my kids have just ruined a piece of expensive equipment that I use. And the next thing I hear from bringing the clothes from the line is, "Mummy, we spoilt your thing." And I'm like, oh goodness, what is it now? And then I went in to have a look, and to my amazement, they've pulled this microphone section out of this. Can you see? Yeah, so that's, well, I need to find out actually how much it is. I use this a lot. You know, for my show, I use this. This was, in fact, this is the presenter's microphone. But what I'm talking about is really what to do when things go wrong. You know, I could either beat myself up for leaving it on the table. Exactly. I could either, you know, make such a big deal out of it and be like, "You're grounded for a month." Real thing. Okay. And they're physical people. I want to teach them not to destroy things. So I asked them to go to their bed, and my daughter was crying. In fact, when they saw me, and I was like, "You shouldn't have spoiled that. You shouldn't have spoiled." They were both laughing. They were like, "Mess things about. Otherwise, they're going to go to other people's houses and do the same thing." So there is that balance as well of teaching them to respect property, but at the same time, not letting them feel like they're hated and the world's coming to an end. So this is my current situation. And how are you anyway, my dear? How are the kids? And what have they been keeping you up to? I just want to see how much it costs actually, because it was one of the first things I think that I invested in, because having really good sound is it's really important with production. And this is so handy because you can put it down your top. In fact, for one of the shows, I put it in my chest area, and I was speaking and it was recording the sound perfectly. You can put it in your back pocket and then have the microphone going through. So yes, it was a big shock to me, especially because my son is so used to playing with it and holding it. Oh, they're having daddy time. They're having daddy time. So let me see how much it costs. It's called Zoom H1. Zoom H1 audio recorder. Zoom H1. So currently on Amazon, it is £119 currently on Amazon. But someone's reduced it to 79. Someone's got it 105. But yeah. What's the spec? What's the spec? Do you want to get one? I'll dash you this one. To be honest, I can still use it. But I can't use this bit, and I use this bit a lot, where you don't have to plug in any microphones. This is the microphone itself. You just record. But now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to always plug in. Let me show you. I'm going to have to always plug in an external lavalier mic in here, and then speak through this, which is sometimes a bit of a hassle, whereas before you could just press record and speak directly into that. And that was great. I've done loads of voiceovers on this. But yeah, I think it's good to take time and reflect on what's important in life. And yes, it's a lot of money, but how do you find solutions as well? So how do you find the solutions to your problems? So this has happened. You can't change it. lots of things happen in life, whether it's, an accident, a death in the family, or, a hard time that you're going through. Once it's actually happened, you can't reverse that. But it's a case of, right, what can I do to move forward with the situation? So one of the solutions in this, you can push it and it comes out. Look. So what I'd need to do now is I'm going to have to get a soldering kit or get somebody who has one and solder that cable back onto this. Yes, it's a hassle. Yes, it's a faff, but you can't change what you can't change. It's already happened. The kids, don't understand the value of it. So I think it's a valuable lesson for them to learn not to destroy things. But then at the same time, it's a thing, it's an item. What are you going to do? You can't protect them. You can't tell them not to touch anything. Otherwise, you'll constantly be on their case. Don't touch that. Don't pull that. Don't, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing that a lot to them. And I just have to remind myself, just let them, if they're going to pull the clothes off the washing line and then I have to wash them again, every once in a while, just let them, let them be kids, let them have, create their own fun. It does take grace. It does take grace. I'm telling you. And it takes time to reflect as well. I think sometimes because we're, it's easy to be reactionary. Is that the word? It's easy to react to a situation. So sometimes it's nice to just stop and think, okay, what's the, either what's the worst that could happen or what's the big deal? Is there a solution I can find to this? It's already done anyway. So are you going to waste your energy again, reenacting it over and over and over again? What are your thoughts, guys? What situations have you been in when you've thought, oh my goodness, how do I deal with this now? This is another thing that I wasn't planning on dealing with. Indeed, yeah. Penina, I hope I'm saying your name properly. Women have a big role to play in the family. In fact, both parents have a big role to play, and the rest of the family feed off how you both are. If you're very reactionary and every single time it's like you're on their case, then they're going to pick up on that. It's like, this is what I go through every day of my life. That's what they're experiencing, whether it's other family members, whether it's children. So the only people that we can change or influence is ourselves. We can try and encourage others, but there's no guarantee that they will see things the way you see them. So the only thing that we can do is influence ourselves, take time, which is hard to do in this modern day and age, but take time to reflect on what's really important. What am I going to achieve here? And what's been done is done. So it's happened. The only thing you can do is learn from it. You can learn from what's been done and then move forward. But if you keep on reenacting, but you did that, but that happened, and oh my goodness, it's broken. Yes, okay. Oh my goodness, it's broken. Yeah, and oh my goodness, it's broken. It's not going to stop it from being broken. It's not going to change the fact that the kids yanked it away. It's not going to change. The thing is, I could actually learn how to fix mechanical things so that if something like this happens again, I know, okay, yeah, you just solder this to this, and then I could use super glue to stick this onto there. Then I test it. Is it still working? Oh, it sounds great. Or, oh, it doesn't sound great. Now I only have to use the microphone. But to reenact what's already happened, I don't know. I think it causes more emotional stress than not. So what's happened to yourselves? What was the regret? Was it a regret actually having the child out of wedlock? Was that the regret? So just in case anyone watches this later, I'll read out what you've said so that it makes sense, because sometimes people don't watch the live chat. So you said, when having my second child out of wedlock, that was my big regret ever. So the fact that you had your child out of wedlock was your big regret. I'm glad that but now you're used to it and you're happy with everything is okay. Do you know what? I'm really glad you brought that up, because in one of the shows that I've produced, I made sure that I brought out those human interest stories. So there was a lady who, exactly the same situation, she met a guy, and she actually met a guy from church, and she thought, okay, yeah, this guy's fine. And she thought that she was going to be with him for life. She got pregnant, and then the guy went off with her best friend and started a new life with the best friend. And she was left and abandoned, in essence. Now, that was 9 years ago. Her child's now 9. And she was just saying how, she couldn't even eat, she couldn't sleep, she thought the world was going to crash on her. And especially in Africa, in certain parts of the world, but Africa, I know, if you get pregnant and you're not married, it's like dun dun dun. Yeah, think about it. There are people out there who are not married, they're having sex, but they don't get pregnant. But someone who's out there, they do exactly the same act and they do get pregnant. There is, oh wow, that's exactly the same thing that happened to you. That's terrible, isn't it? And they don't get pregnant. The other person does get pregnant. And, and the person that's got pregnant, there's that stigma, there's that, you're this, you're that, how are you going to bring up the child? It's that burden. And some people go to the extent of committing suicide, or, for not wanting to have an abortion, they then go and have an abortion and then have complications, maybe die as a result of that. Maybe the child gets deformed or whatever as a result of that, because of the shame, because of the fear of, this is the end of the world. Okay, so something in their life they believe has gone wrong. And they obviously can't change the past, because they can't rewind what's happened and, not go through that process of having sex or whatever. This happened. They're pregnant. The child is there. The child is growing. So it's a case of, well, what are you going to do about it? The parents are there and it's like, okay, yeah, my child's pregnant, but they can't be unpregnant unless if you want them to go under a procedure that they might not be willing to do. You can't change that. So how can you move forward? How can you find a solution? How can you see the solution? How can you see the problem and change it into a life situation where you can learn? And a lot of people, as you've just said, that have been through, let's say, the pregnancy situation, have gone through it, and then at the end of it, it's like, oh, well, yeah, I can see that in the midst of that situation, it was, how am I going to tell people? What are people going to think of me? Oh my goodness, everybody will know what I've been up to. But then later on, when the child's like 11 years old, it's like, this child is a joy and a blessing to me. And I wonder what I would have done if I didn't have this child in my life. And that's exactly what this lady said. She was like, she's such a blessing to me. And, that really was by the grace of God that she was able to get through that situation. It's taught her a lot in life. So it's one of those things. And that's one of the things that I really, in fact, there are 2 cases of that, 3, because in season 2, there's another lady who was abandoned. And she even had to go to the what do you call it, the office of the guy and say, look, this is your child. This is your child. I was a virgin before you came to me. Now you've impregnated me, you've left me, and you've gone off with someone else. And in that second situation, the guy was actually married and she didn't know. They're like, hold on a second. I didn't even beg you to come to me. You started hitting on me. You slept with me, you got me pregnant, and then you abandoned me. I didn't ask you to do that. And for her, she's got a daughter and she's got a hair salon. She told her story. In fact, when she was telling her story, she was in tears. So yeah, so you're right. I went through a lot, but now my kids are grown up, 15 and 12. Congrats. Wow, 15 and 12. I'll come for lessons from you. And since they have never dated again. Since then, I have never dated again. I love my children so much, they're a blessing to me. Oh, Free Trader, hey, Etise, Free Trader, how are you? Free Trader, I want to show you something. Hold on. Free Trader, look, Ghana's best shito. Hey, Ghana's best. I love this stuff. Oh my goodness. I have to get you to send me some shito from Ghana. Yeah, so Free Traders come in. He actually gives good information and tips on the stock market and how to trade, what to look for, and when to step in. And something that I have constantly thought about. Actually, I've thought about it a lot, but then just how to start. I know you have to get an account with a trader, I don't know what they're called again. You have to get an account and you pay a fee, and then you can manage your stocks and shares and stuff with them. But yeah, check out his website, Free Trader. So Free Trader, I was just sharing with everyone that a broker, that's it, yes. But they have online brokers, because I've looked at them. I think some of them are like $4.99 a month, or you can pay like one-off. But you'll be better at explaining that. I was just saying my kids broke one of my production, and that's a microphone that I use a lot. And we're just talking about situations. When something goes wrong, how do you turn the situation around? Or do you just keep on rehearsing, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken, it's broken? And my mentality is, if you continually say, yes, you should acknowledge that it's broken, because if you don't acknowledge that it's broken, then how are you going to fix it, right? But don't dwell in that state of regret or anger or annoyance or whatever it is that you're feeling at that time. Try and move on from it. Yeah, so you do have some free brokers, commission-free brokers, that you're kind of trading in with the wind. It's kind of like, what is it? You're buying something that somebody else has bought some time ago, and then they might make a little bit of money on it. And then I know you have to be in there for the long term. It's a long-term game. It's not like a quick situation. And you need to have the knowledge, or go to someone like Free Trader to teach you when to jump in and when to sell your stock and your shares. And Forex. Forex is another thing that people are into. I have a few friends who are into Forex trading. So yeah, you could either dwell on the fact that it's broken, or you could say, it's broken, and what am I going to do about it? So there should always be an and. There should always be an and. My and is, and I need to find a way to fix it. So I could solder this myself. I could get a new one, but right now it's not practical to get a new one. Number one, the cost. Number two, I'm not where I usually am for my Amazon deliveries. And I have a few things that I need to film still out here in Uganda. So I'm just going to use my number three option, which is use an alternative microphone into it. But just as in life, you go through ups and downs. You might find yourself in a situation where something happens to you. You don't even cause the problem. And then how do you react to that? I'm going to share a personal story. So I like to reflect on things, and I like to ask myself, why am I feeling this way? I'm a full-time everything, full-time mother. And I am currently working on some independent productions myself. I've currently completed a show, 6-episode shows, 5 24 minutes, and then the finale is 36 minutes. I'm about to sign a deal with one of the stations here in Uganda, and I'm just waiting for them to send me the contract. So until I see the contract and I've signed on the dotted line, I'm just playing it cool. I'm waiting for it to actually be concrete. And then we go into the process of getting sponsors on board. Yes, I was talking about something that's happened to me. I was in the car in Devizes, a little village called, well, it's a town called Devizes, no train station, it's out in Wiltshire. Coming back from work, driving along, I was going down a narrow street. There were cars parked and I was going through, and I had right of way because there was a car parked on the side of the road that the other person was coming up on. So I went and I actually stopped. And then the person squeezed through, came through and squeezed through. But then we were both able to fit through, but it was quite slim. And I think it was a she, and she's like, beep, 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 and then was doing like gestures to me in the mirror. And I was thinking to myself, what on earth is going on? Hold on a second. First of all, I'm not even in the wrong. And secondly, why would anybody in their right mind be so aggressive for something that's, I mean, we're both able to fit through. The car is on your side. So in actual fact, they should have waited for me to go through. But because they were coming through, they wanted to rush or whatever, then they're like, beep, 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 beep. And then I was driving the car. I think I had my son in the back. And it just kind of took me by surprise because, you know, when you've done something wrong, right? You know, when you've done something wrong and you know that you deserve, let's say if somebody was like, oh yeah, you stepped on my toe, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. But then when you haven't done something wrong and then somebody gets on your case, you feel like, what's going on? So at that point in time, my physical reactions, because I didn't react to her, I just kept on looking forward. I could see the gestures and everything, but I just kept on looking forward and I kept on focusing. And in fact, I was using a positive tone of voice because to my son in the back, I was like, "Oh yeah, so how was that? That's wrong. You know, that's so wrong." But then physically, externally, I chose to do the opposite. But then one question that I had was, why did my body, my physical chemical bodies react in that way? And it was even disturbing me. Like when I got home, it was like disturbing me. And I was, you know, I prayed through it. I spoke positively and I was like, yeah, I was singing, I was whatever. But then every once in a while, I'd get that niggling, you know, reminder of the, I don't know, maybe whether it was the sound of the horn or the gestures and the aggression. And the question I had for myself is, when things go wrong, your mind can tell you the right thing to do. So whether it's apologize or, you know, get into the right position to make things okay, but then your body, your physical body, the brain cells have already transmitted things. Yes, our mind is our world. Very true. Something has gone in already and it's affected your physiology. So that even when in your mind, you're reprogramming your mind or you're keeping that frame of mind that I'm moving on, you know, this person's not going to steal my joy. You know, that was the kind of thing that I was professing to myself that I'm going to be super happy when I get home. My husband's going to, this has been a really great, you know, because I wanted to stay in that positive frame of mind. I didn't want an outsider who's probably gone on to do whatever they want to do in their life, and they probably don't even know that they even have an impact on someone else. I didn't want them to, oh, take care, you're off to work. Oh, you actually are working. Ah, okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. And it was nice seeing you today. I should be seeing more of you because I think I set a reminder on your thing. So yeah, that physical reaction is, in the future, how can I take away the physical reaction? Because I've overcome the mental reaction where I'm kind of like, yep, I've moved on. I'm not going to change my state of being. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to play with my kids. I'm still going to be, you know, but physically, when you have the half seconds of remembrance, you've had that physical reaction again. So if you cannot control your mindset, if you can control your mindset, you can dominate the actual universe. Now, free trader, but that's my point though. In that situation, I chose to have a positive mindset about the situation. But because that initial reaction, my initial reaction wasn't anything, wasn't anger, I didn't even respond to that person, because I just kept on looking straight forward, and I chose to ignore the person because I didn't want to feed them. So my initial reaction was choose right, because if I really wanted to, I wouldn't anyway, but let's say if I was the type of the person that was reactionary, I could have got out of the car and said, you need to learn the traffic rules. You were in the wrong. The car is parked on there, which means you need to wait. I could have done that, and I would have been justified to tell that person off. But then because they felt safe in their car, maybe they're used to road rage. With people that have road rage, regardless of whether they're in the wrong or the right, and most of the times they're in the wrong because they're aggressive drivers, they will really, really react even if they're in the wrong. They cut someone up and then they're like, beep, beep, beep. Like, you should let me cut you up. So so my question to you, I would say, free trader or anyone else in the room, my question to you is, if you've changed your mindset so that you choose to respond in a different way to what people would expect you to respond. So you're choosing, let me say a godly way. You're choosing to respond in the spirit. You're choosing not to react quickly to someone or in anger or whatever. But there is the residue of the physical response. How do you overcome that physical response is my question. Because you could say, yeah, well, it's in the mind. It is in the mind, but you've chosen to use your mind to do something else, haven't you? But regardless of that, there is that physical reaction. So it could be, for example, fear. Someone could be afraid of an animal, right? But they choose to overcome that fear, so-called overcome that fear, to approach that animal or scare it away or sweep it up and throw it out of the house or whatever. But does that choice change the physical fear that they're feeling, the chemicals, the feeling, the emotional feeling of fear? Does that go away, or how do you make that go away? Is it possible to make that go away? And again, it all originates from the mind. The reason why the person is fearful because they've been told that they've been conditioned to be afraid of the tiger, the lion, the whatever it is that they are scared of. They've been conditioned to be afraid of the person walking down the street with a hoodie, right? They think, oh, this person, it's dark, it's late, this person's gonna steal my bag, okay? It will go away because the mindset has changed. So I guess then it's a deeper level then, isn't it? Because you could change your physical reaction to a situation because you've changed your attitude to the situation, but still there's another level. So I love using Batari's box, which is my attitude affects my behavior, which affects your attitude, which affects your behavior, right? So if my attitude is I'm fearful of Asian people, right? Because as a child, I used to watch, I don't know, karate movies, and I always think that someone's going to attack me. You know, I've got this mental block that these people are X, Y, or Z, right? So that's the attitude I have. Then how will I behave when I see an Asian person? Yes. So the way that I'm thinking is that I'm scared of Asian people. No, you have to be scared of Asian people. That's my attitude, right? So when I see an Asian person walking down the street towards me, already those prejudices come to my mind. This person's going to kick me. This person's going to karate chop me. They're going to put some kind of thing on me. So I better be careful. I better move away from them. My behavior changes. I start to clam up. I start to move to the other side of the road. I start to act in a funny way. I don't give them eye contact. I don't smile at them. As a result of my behavior, right, which comes from my mindset, they then start to have an attitude about me because they can see me shying away. They can see me acting awkwardly. Then that also gives them something in their mind to work off. And then they might also react in a certain way based on that. Whereas if I just walk down the street, I don't have any qualms with them, I'm not fearful of them, you know, I could just walk past them, or I could even smile. And as a result of that, that then changes the situation. So, my laptop wasn't plugged in. So, yes, it's all in the mind, which is why if you watch a lot of my posts, when I'm just talking about like day-to-day life and whatnot, I do mention the mind a lot. And we really need to consider how we see things, because there are lots of things that have been fed to us by others, and it's not the reality of life. So you really need to explore the reality of life to make your own judgments on what is true and how you should sort of react to particular things in life. So the mind is very powerful. Joyce Meyer has written a book called The Power Thoughts, 12 Power Thoughts. And that one is more about sort of speaking truth into your own life so that you believe it and then you live it out. You live it out, right? Do you know what, Free Trader? You said that I'm always positive and smiling. I'll tell you a story. My husband used to work while we were students. He used to work for a bakery, a very lovely bakery, and the owners were so good to him, so nice. He used to work there. And generally, he's just a smiley person, right? He's just a lovable person, smiley person. So when he would serve customers, he'd just be like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, like just always smiling. And it was real. It was that's just how he is, you know. It's not like he was being forced to, I got to smile at the customers. It was, oh, hi. Oh, yeah, okay. So what do you want? You want. Now, he was there. He was, and for, I don't know why they said it or what connection it is, what connection they put together, but they're like, why are you smiling? Are you gay? Because the person was a guy. So he obviously thought the only reason why somebody would be so happy and smiley whenever they see me is because they're attracted. Reason to walk around with a frown on their face. They're just generally a happy person. They couldn't get their mind around that. So yeah, always positive and smiling. That just reminded me of that story. My husband, you know, told me, is like, you know, I'm not interested in you. I'm just being friendly. You know, you're a customer. You've come in to buy some bread, and I'm smiling. I smile at all the customers. So yeah, sometimes people don't get it. They always think that there's a catch. There's like, why are you so happy? Why are you so? It's like, oh, something bad's happened. You should be angry. You should be upset. That's not natural. You should. Well, who says I should be? I don't have to live according to your expectations. I can choose to influence my own emotions and my own responses to a particular thing. Yes, of course, there's a time for everything. And there's a benefit in going through emotional processes to be able to understand parts of life. You know, if it was all monotone and we're all the same, and you know, there wouldn't be any variety to life. That's the spice of life, the ups, the downs, but it's about appreciating it. It's about taking it on and learning something from it, which is why the situation of the driving, when it happened to me, I really wanted to take time and reflect and understand, why did that, even though I switched my mind, why did that affect me in that particular way? It shouldn't have. In my mind, I was thinking, well, it shouldn't have, because number one, I wasn't in the wrong. Number two, I didn't care that the lady, well, I didn't think I cared that the lady was shouting and honking. But on reflection, I think the reason why it affected me and why I thought about it even when I got home was because of the fact that that person was in the wrong. And I think that injustice is what got to me. It was the injustice. You know, when you see injustice, it just hits you somewhere. It's like when you see something that's wrong, you know, you see the underdog being beaten down, and you see a situation that you're like, no, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. That's inhumane. You know, I think it was that thing that got to it, and not even the fact that it was to me, but it was a fact of that individual as a person. Why are they living their lives? And it's not for me to actually even question them or judge them. I was just trying to work out why it resonated with me, why it stuck with me. But, you know, that person, why did they feel like they had the right to go through life as if they were in the right when they were in the wrong? So, and then again, who decides what's right or wrong? Okay, there's something in the traffic book that says da 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 da, but again, we're putting our own judgments on what's right and what's wrong. So yeah, back to the question, you know, how do we deal with when things go wrong? How do we deal with it? So just one liner for yourselves there. How do you deal with a situation that has, inverted commas, gone wrong? You see, when someone's quiet and silent, then it forces you to answer the question. How do you deal with a situation that has gone wrong, when you feel like something has gone totally wrong? Climbed to the highest mountain, looked all around, couldn't find nobody. Went down to the deepest valley, looked all around down there, couldn't find nobody. I'm just going to keep on singing until I get a response. I went across the deep blue sea, couldn't find one to compare to your grace, your love, your mercy. Nobody greater than you. Searched all over, couldn't find nobody. Thank you, but why aren't you answering the question? I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody greater. Nobody greater, no. Nobody greater than you. Nobody can heal like you can. O most holy one, you are the great I am. He who carried out redemption plan. You are he who carried out redemption plan. I searched all over, couldn't find nobody. The question I asked is, What do you do? What is your response when things go wrong? I looked high and low, still couldn't find nobody. Nobody great. Nobody greater, no. Nobody greater than you. Nobody greater. Boom, boom, boo-doo-doo-doo. Nobody great. I can stop singing now. Free Trader said, stay positive. Ah, nobody greater than you. Stay positive. I think stay positive and be realistic would be mine as well. I agree with stay positive in the sense of you look for the positive out of the situation. You look for the positive within the situation, and you look for the positive solution to the situation as well. And sometimes there just might not be a solution, but the solution is changing your mindset about what has happened. Yep. Beautiful. So first thing you do, Penina, is you accept the situation, so you acknowledge it. Then you forgive yourself, and then does anybody know that song, Let Go and Let God? And how does it start? Let go and let God, just let go and let God. Oh, and let God. If I can remember that song, I'll sing it for you. But yes, a few people have joined on the group, into the group. I'm talking about how you deal with situations when things go wrong. So my kids just ruined my Zoom H1, which I use a lot in my production work. And we've had some solutions here from a few people here, and they said, well, they stay positive, and then they first accept the situation, then forgive themselves, and then let go. So the letting go part, I think, as well, for some people. Catch you later. Bye, my Ghanaian friend. Bye-bye. I'm sure you're somewhere like in the UK. Oh, Simi, you're back. I didn't know you had gone. So you need to answer the question then. The question is, what do you do in a situation when you feel like things have gone wrong? How do you deal with that situation? Oh, you're in the US. Okay, which part? I know you've got to go anyway, but which part? So someone said that they stay positive. Another person said that they first accept the situation, forgive themselves, and then they let go. And I agree with that as well. I agree with all those things. And you do still have to acknowledge what has happened, because there's no use, I don't believe anyway, in equal acknowledge the situation, but you choose Connecticut. Never been there. It's one place I haven't been. So yes, you accept the situation, and for me, it's find a solution to it. And sometimes there isn't a physical solution, but there's always a mental solution, as in, how do you think about that situation in a way that is helpful to yourself rather than a way that will eat away at you. So when things go wrong, I tend to not dwell on what went wrong and start to think about the next step forward. Exactly. But it's not hard to do that if you haven't trained yourself to do that. A lot of the times, I think people stay in that situation, rehearse it over and over again. And by doing that, you're feeding into those negative, if it's a negative situation, of course, you're feeding, because it's, if something's gone wrong, then it should be, not so positive. So feeding into that situation, you're feeding those emotions that you had when it happened. You're reliving that over and over again. You're torturing yourself over and over again. The thing has happened. Probably the people that were involved in it have moved on. But if you keep on rehearsing it and you stay in that state of mind, then actually, who are you affecting? You're affecting yourself negatively. Whereas as you say, if you move forward, you look for the next step forward. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. So sometimes, Simisala says, sometimes when things aren't straightforward and you can't get around the problem, try to focus on what is going well and be thankful. Very true. Very true, yeah, because sometimes it might be a situation where there are other parties involved. And although you've let go and you've made your peace and you're, at ease or, at peace with the world, this problem is still there because there are other parties involved. But if you just focus on what's going well, be thankful, and have a positive attitude, knowing that, you hope that change will come. And if not, change your mindset. Look at the situation in a different way. Try and look at it from a different angle. And sometimes if there are other people involved, try and look at it from their point of view. Why are they stuck in that situation? And you let them jump from one state of being to the next automatically because you say, get over it. Oh, my friend from Uganda is here. We still need to meet up. And guess what? Mr. Muzinguzi, and what did you say, Simi, just before I move on? Gratitude tends to help a lot. Yes, because it shifts your mind from what's going wrong to what's going well. And not even what's going well, but just being present, even if something, for example, there was something about, there's some people that can't feel pain. So they could put their hand on a fire and they can't feel the pain. So even changing your mindset to, I'm in pain right now, but wow, imagine if I couldn't feel pain, the way my body's created, I wouldn't be able to feel certain things. I wouldn't be able to experience certain things. I would keep on hurting myself. So even being grateful for pain, as weird as it sounds, you've changed your mindset. And then it moves you from focusing on that, I'm in pain, only me is in pain, I'm the only one that feels pain. You then switch it to, oh, there's a biological reaction to something else going on. What is it? Let me learn about that so that I can move on from just focusing on the pain to something else. I always stop and find out if I can fix it. Oh, so you are listening secretly, Mr. Muzinguzi. Naughty, naughty. I always stop and find out if I can fix it. If not, then I move on to the next on my to-do list or something that already is working quite well. One thing you've said there is really important. You stop. And I think that's probably what the stumbling block that we have is that finding time to stop and reflect is the key. Because if you don't stop and reflect, you could just be like the wind, reacting to this, and you're like, oh, sorry, that wasn't the real situation. And then you're here, and then you're like, oh, sorry, that wasn't, but start finding time to stop and say, how do I fix this? What are the keys around me, the clues that can help me fix it? If I'm so single-minded on the issue, the problem, or even so single-minded on the solution, only the solution, sometimes you miss the different connections that could allow you to experience that situation. So yes, very true. Stop and find it. Can I just give a shout out to Mr. Muzinguzi? He made a video. Actually, it was a live. I was really confused because it was a live. And I thought, yay, jump on, have a chat. I went on to watch his live, and there was a video playing about, it's called So Far. And it's a group. It's an organization that plan secret live shows, events at nice venues. They use nice sort of venues, and they do it here all around the world. And they've got one running here in Kampala, in Uganda. And so because I watched his live, I found out about that really, really nice, interesting, cool activity and thing that you could do. I went onto the website, sofar.com, I think it was, and looked for Kampala, and I applied for a ticket. So I'm waiting to hear to see if I've been accepted to come and experience the next live performance. And if I am accepted, then next thing would be finding babysitters. Simi, I don't know if your parents are close by, but yeah, being able to do things, you need to have a plan. someone to pick them up from nursery, or whether someone to look after them when they're back from nursery so that you can go and do a specific thing. And here in Uganda, I'm blessed because their grandparents are here, but sometimes they're like in the village, so they're not around. Their auntie's here, but she's working as well, but she's always sort of, whenever she's available, happy to two kids. And yes, so I can't leave them anywhere. Anything that I go to, they must be able to come with us. So we went for our first theatre experience. It's been a long time. In fact, the last time I went to the theatre was the night before I gave birth to my second child. And yeah, it was a close one because I could have given birth in the theatre. And the show was even about somebody who was giving birth as well. So, so you have to find, if you want to do different things like that, you have to find your solutions within the setting that you are in. But in the UK at this point in time, I don't have that option. We don't have that option. So, and we don't want to kind of do solo things. I'd rather be with my husband if we're doing something, or even be with the kids. I love doing things as a family. So it'd be great if you could go to the theatre, like adult theatre, with kids. Obviously, people wouldn't want that because in case they make noise and whatnot, but that would be great for me. Yes, so yes, see the situation, assess the situation, which is the waiting, which is what Mr. Muzinguzi has spoken about. And if you want to learn about Uganda as well, go onto his page, and yeah, he'll give you like the proper stuff of do something properly, which is quite unexpected because I'm into production, but I'm not focusing on the YouTube for that. I want the YouTube to be raw and ready, just there you go, look, this is it. If it's too complicated, then it becomes another issue, which I don't want. So yes, so focusing on the positives, focusing on, acknowledging the negatives, acknowledging the situation, acknowledging what's gone wrong, and looking at how you can use that as a learning opportunity to grow as an individual. Because if you just always have to keep on pushing, or for a way how to open the door, how to find the solution, if the door's always open for you. For example, when I'm training someone, the lady I was training, I made sure that she did things herself, because if I just did it and said, oh, you do it like this, this is how you change this is how you change that, and just let her watch, she's not going to make mistakes, which means she's not going to learn, and which means that she won't remember. But if she does it herself, if she makes mistakes especially, learns how to correct those mistakes, then more than likely that will stick with you because you've had that tactile experience. And I think that experiences, if I can ask another question, what experience have you been through in life? This might be a hard one. What experience have you been through in life that has taught you the most about yourself? So what experience have you been through in life that has taught you the most about yourself? I don't think there's one thing that we could probably choose. I think there are many, many situations in life that keep on teaching us about ourselves. And the more we go through life, the more we experience life, the more, because your mind just teaches you something as a result of that situation. There's one thing that a friend of mine, Rosie, she was giving a picture that she had of a tower, sort of a cylindrical tower. And she said that people are at different levels of that tower, right? And because you're at different levels, if you're higher up, you can see more, right? If you're lower down, your view. So the person right at the top or in the middle, you can't really expect the person right down at the bottom or lower down to understand the things that you can understand based on what you can see, because they can't see that yet. They're still on their journey. You can help try and guide and focus their minds and try and help them to appreciate that life could be different based on what you can see. But to expect them to see what you can see and to understand what you can understand and do things the way you, it's not practical, it's not realistic, and it's not fair on them as well, because there is value in what they're going through. And at the same time, there are things that they can see that's on that level higher up and that you're missing out on. So you might be looking at the bigger picture and seeing that, oh yes, well, that's the solution. Oh, I can see there's help coming in that corner there. There's some water over there in the corner. They need to go over there. But you might not be able to see the things lower down on the ground. And as a result of that, you might be quick to jump to the solution. Whereas they're like, hold on a second, look, there's a landmine there. You can't see that because you're too far above. I know that I need to wait and go round, or I need to do something to avoid that situation because I know myself, I know my body, I know how this works. So the summary of that is be patient with people. Be patient with people. So something that taught you something about yourself, Penanai, is depression. So how did you experience, what triggered, I could say, that state of depression? And what did you learn about yourself as a result of that? Because I think that's really, really important to talk about. Because sometimes if somebody is in a state of depression, and it could be long-term, other people from the outside are quick to give solutions. Oh, just have a positive mind frame. Just get out of bed. Or just go out. It's because you're not doing this. It's because you're not doing that. But hold on a second. They are in that particular situation, and you can encourage them to come out of that state. You can help them in ways, but sometimes the solution isn't just telling them to do this or to do that based on your own experience, based on, what you think would help them. So it's a case of starting with that person. Where are you right now? And can you think of anything yourself that would help you get out of this state? And even that question in itself could be mind-boggling. It's like, well, how can I think of something to help me get out of this state? If I could, then wouldn't I have done it already? Wouldn't I have tried that already? So can you give us more? I don't know if you feel free sharing. And then I wish I had Google Hangouts here so that you could actually talk, but I think you have to start out with it as a Google Hangout, and then you can do that afterwards. So next time, what we should do, either on your channel or my channel, is the kids are actually, you see that gap there? They're in their beds. One is in one bedroom and the other is in the other bedroom. So they can hear me talking, but they're fast asleep. And the reason why I actually decided to come on live today was because I was speaking to my husband, and I was telling him what had happened, and we were talking about the situation. I was like, well, what are you going to do? They're kids, and Jedediah has been playing with this for ages and he hasn't had any problem. But I think today, Narai just decided to yank it. And he was like, oh yeah, your thing. And yeah, we both had the same kind of attitude. Like, in fact, he was the one that said, oh yeah, could you solder it? Could you put it, so we're quite solution-driven people, which is quite annoying to some people. I would like to talk about the depression though. Let me tell you what the time is here in Uganda though. It's 9:55. Probably came on around 8. Yes. Getting kids to, oh, Lily Vibes. Hi, Lily Vibes. There was something that I did when they were younger called, there's a package that's called Training Kids God's Way. And there's a sleep thingy where it's like, I think it's like a standard sleep training thing where they're up for they feed for like 2 hours, or they feed, then they play, they stay up till that you wait, keep them up, then they sleep. And that trains them to have that sleep pattern. And once you get into that cycle and that routine, then they're used to going to sleep. But then when they're older, of course, there are different situations. Here in Uganda, they sleep a lot later than they would do in the UK. In the UK, 7:30, they're in bed, majority of the time, unless there's something going on, we've got guests coming or something. But here in Uganda, it's a lot later because, usually if I'm feeding them at home, then they eat on time. But if they've gone to nursery, it's late again. Maybe if we go over to the grandparents, they eat a bit later. So yes, it sort of, and then I want to bathe them. But today they had their bath before they went to have their food, which is sometimes not a good idea. And then when they came in, yeah, it was bedtime, brush their teeth, and then it's bedtime. So my daughter sometimes she's like, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, I want you in the bed." I'm like, "No, you're a big girl. You sleep in the bed, by yourself," and just keep on telling her, and then she just falls asleep. But yes, I can imagine what it's like when you can't get. There's sometimes when my son, maybe because he had a late nap, he just doesn't want to sleep, and he's there in his bed. He'll be quiet, but he'll be kicking his feet up there. Then he'll be like, "Oh, can I have water? Mommy, can I have milk?" And yeah, so it's not always, how you see it. So yes, Lily Vibes, we're talking about how to deal with situations when they go wrong. What do you do as an individual? So if you have your suggestions. My kids broke one of my production kit, Zoom H1 audio recorder, and I use this a lot. And so it's a case of, yes, it's happened. I can't change the situation. What am I going to do about it? Now, in this particular case, I wanted the kids to know that what they've done is not good. Because when they did it, they were like smiling and they thought, "Oh, this is fun." They were like, in fact, it was quite cute. But I had to kind of put disciplinarian voice on so that they knew that you just don't go around snapping things and breaking things. Interestingly enough, my daughter, because sometimes I leave things around because I'm using them or whatnot. My daughter loves getting these ball heads, this ball head, and like whacking it on the floor. Like sometimes there's a carpet there, and she'll whack it on the floor, and then hold this and use it as a hammer. And I'm like, "Mariah, don't do that. You're going to spoil it." So I'm surprised she's probably done something to it. But I don't always want to be on their case. Like, don't do this, don't do that. And obviously, if I kept it away, but then also you don't want to have to do that. You don't want to have to put everything on lock and key. You want them to, over time, learn through experience what they should do and what they shouldn't do. So back onto depression. So yes, with depression, a lot of the times it's easy as an outsider to say, just do this, just do that, because you can't understand what that person is going through. Yes, in fact, that's what I was just saying. I've pushed this out, and this bit comes out, and I've realized I've seen the panel that you need to solder this section onto. So I just need to get some pliers to remove the protecting cable, the cabling. You know what I mean? The encased thing. So to expose the second wire, and then I'll solder it on, and then probably use super glue, which I bought today actually for something else that was broken, his guitar, and find a way to put this back on there. So yes, there is always a solution. Plus I can use just the external microphone. So think about what you value in life and whether you make such a big deal out of it. Obviously for the kids, I had to teach them this is good and that's not so good. Otherwise, then it's, the number of things, you just name it. There's so many things around that they can smash and break. And a lot of this stuff is quite expensive as well, like a camera lens. Some camera lenses, could go for $1,000, £1,000 just for a lens. So why is it different when it comes to kids? Imagine you've made a plate of food. You've arranged it nicely with the vegetables, the meat, the drink, and your child goes, flips it, pours it on the floor. You did your hard work and energy to make that food, and you don't have any more food left, so you're going to have to cook it all again or pick it up and wash it. So with kids in that situation, that's gone wrong. So what do you do in that situation? You can pick it up, you can wash it, you can put it you can leave it on the floor, you can tell the child you're going to eat it. That's the only food that you've got, You can pack it up and put it in the bin and just give them, a piece of bread or whatever and say, well, sorry, I'm not going to cook through again because we need to go out or we need to do this or we need to do that. Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. That's true in part because sometimes actually children do know. We don't give them enough credit. Yes, the value of things, they don't know, they don't appreciate that, it would cost a lot of money to do that or whatnot, but they would definitely know that they are breaking something, especially with this, for example, because as soon as it happened, guess what my son said? Because I was outside bringing things from the washing line. Mommy, we've broken your thing. I'm like, what thing? We've broken your thing. He was like reporting himself. And I think it was actually his sister that pulled it off. And she's, she's turning 2 on Monday. So yeah, he's like, Mommy, we And then when I went to them and I said, no, you don't do that. That's not good at all. They're like this. Little cute faces. And I just had to ignore the smiles and the cuteness, avoid kissing them and be like, and the funny thing is, I need to tell myself off because, for example, my son today again, he was outside there. They were supposed to be going over to have dinner with grandparents. I was making the sauce to take over because they had the foods, the sweet potato, and what else did we have? Sweet potato, cassava, ugali, which is posho, and I had some rice as well. So I made the sauce. So I went over there, but then they didn't want to stay there. They wanted to come to where I am, which is just a walk away. He came over. He's just turned 4, right? He's just turned 4. He was outside there, and then his little sister, they knocked on the door because I always lock the door when I'm in. They knocked on the door, and I was like, go back to Jaja, go back to Jaja. And then my little daughter was like, Mommy, Jedediah's done a wee-wee. And I'm like, Jedediah's done a wee-wee. Are you sure? Are you? You like cassava? I made some cassava myself this weekend, local style, with the banana leaves and the thingy steamed in. Yeah, so he's like, Jedediah's done a wee-wee. And I'm like, So I had to open the door now, didn't I? Right? I thought, oh, they're just playing. And he stood in a pool of wee with his shorts on and his sandals in this, and it was a lot, massive pool. Now he knows himself, even if he's outside, he knows, pull the pants out, go to a bush and pee. Yeah, you don't have to be near a toilet. Just pull your pants down and pee outside, right? So he he was stood in the pool, and then I'm like, Jedediah, what have you done? And then to top that off again, he then was jumping in the puddle of poo, of wee, right? So he was jumping in the puddle, and I'm like, okay. So I told him to take his things off, and then we went straight into the bath. And he's like, Mommy, can I have banana? I said, Jedediah, the banana was in the car a bit far away. I said, no, Jedediah, you can't have banana. Do you know why? He's like, I was like, because you did a wee-wee on yourself instead of weeing outside your trousers. And because you did that, now I have to give you a bath and take your clothes off. And the time that I'm using to do this now, I can't go and get the banana for you. So, and he knows not to do a wee-wee on himself. He knows that he needs to just take his pee-pee out and do a wee, even if you just do it out on the road, it doesn't matter, just do it out from your pants so that we don't have to change your clothes again. So yeah, that situation there. I just calmly took him, got him to take his clothes off. He was still stepping in the puddle. And then took him. We went straight into the bath, and we had an early bath time, which actually worked well for me. So that was a blessing in disguise. Lily vibes. Do you know what? I only started liking cassava when I came here to Uganda. It's really nice with roasted pork. You know, you can go to the pork joints and they give you pork, roasted pork with cassava and avocado and a little bit of salt on the side and chili if you want it on the side. And when they steam it right, oh, the taste. Because you've got like the saltiness, the pork usually just has salt on it, yeah? The saltiness or the balanced saltiness of the pork, then with the cassava, and then the cassava always somehow in the pork joints, the cassava always seems to have like a sweet taste. It's not sour at all. It's like, look, I'm even watching my mouth. Oh, yes, it is so nice. And I could just keep on going and going and going and going. And my brain's telling me, okay, now it is time to stop now. But before that, I wasn't really a cassava fan. In fact, I don't think I really rated it. I don't think I even had it much at all. Because I lived in Nigeria for 4 to 5 years. And I can't remember having cassava in Nigeria, unless if I missed. The only cassava that they have, I think something called eba or gari is ground cassava, like in bits, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's cassava, yes. But not in the stick format. I can't remember having cassava in the stick format or in the, steamed cassava in Nigeria as a food. And I don't remember having sweet potato either, the white sweet potato, which they have here in Uganda, which is lovely. Really? That's strange. Where are you living now? So you used to live in Uganda, but you'd never tried cassava. But they have cassava with everything. It's like if you go to a buffet, you would have cassava there. You'd have rice, you'd have beans, you'd have cassava, you'd have posho. That's really strange. And then the pork joints, that's all they serve. It's cassava, kachumbari, which is the onions, tomatoes chopped up really finely together, and avocado. So if you went to a pork joint, that's what they serve. So I'm surprised you never had cassava. Or if you went for a wedding as well, they usually have cassava there. So yeah, that's cassava. The only place where I learned about cassava, how to cassava is Uganda. This is Africa. This is Africa. Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Anytime someone says Sweden, I just have to say IKEA, don't you? You just have to say IKEA. Blue and yellow. Who won Eurovision, by the way? It was Netherlands. Yeah. IKEA is just, my kitchen in the UK is IKEA, and I built it myself. I put it together. My husband put it up on the wall. So I am like the IKEA queen. Anything. IKEA can build a bathtub. They can do anything flat pack. But the kitchen is like a modern kitchen with shiny thingies. It's not the traditional one. It's a modern one. So yes, IKEA. I love IKEA. The IKEA used to do like, I used to know IKEA for like studenty stuff. As students, we used to go to IKEA and it would be like kind of cheap and cheerful kind of stuff. It wasn't really that high quality, but now they've got their range, which is the, standard, bog standard stuff. Then you can actually go upmarket. Well, so-called upmarket. It's not bespoke, but it's, it's good quality, really good, some really heavy stuff. You go by the way, don't you? Like, this is real wood. Yeah, IKEA is good. So yeah, just to summarize, for those who've just come in, we're talking about what to do when things go wrong. How do you deal with that situation? And it'll be interesting to know what you do. This is Africa, to know what you do when things go wrong. What is it? What's the other store? I want to know so that I've got options, not just IKEA. So my kids damaged my Zoom H1 recorder, and I chose to, well, I obviously wanted to let them know that it wasn't right. So I explained to them, and then I said, you can't do that, you can't break it. But it's it's an inanimate object, and they're human beings. So, find the solution. I could solder this back. I could find the solution to solder this back. I could just use the microphone on the side, and not use this. Although it's expensive, I could buy another one as well, but I don't have Amazon nearby, and I need to use it for my work. But yes, once a situation has happened, it's happened. I cry. But once the situation has happened, it's happened. Yes, you can acknowledge the pain and you could cry, but then crying won't bring it back. Crying might make you feel a little bit better for a short period of time because at least you've let out your emotions, maybe. But you can't. It can't change the situation. So it's a case of acknowledging the situation, stopping, thinking about the way forward, and then moving forward. Because obviously we're using this as an example because it's just happened, a few hours ago. So he said, then I will cry one more time for good measure and move on. Just for the sake of it, you're just like, what? It's like those movies that the person is like, no, and then they do it in slow motion, no, then they move back and do a wide angle, no, then they show them from above, like in this vast empty space, no, and then they suddenly show that they're like in a little tiny room. Gaith Hanachi. Wow, your name sounds like it should have a song to it. Gaith Hanachi. Gaith Hanachi. Am I pronouncing it? Is it a silent G or a silent H? Gaith? Haith? Could it be Haith or Gaith? Hanachi. Yeah, so hi, I'm fine. Thank you very much. So what do you do in a situation when something has already happened? You're driving down the road, you go into a pothole, cool. I've seen this happen on the road, actually. I see it after it's happened. I don't see it when it's actually happened. But I've gone past cars that the front wheel is like bent so that it's no longer vertical, it's horizontal to the car. Hanachi. No, the beginning bit. The gaith. Oh, Tunisia. Originally from Tunisia, but you're French. Bonsoir. It's evening here. It is 22:14. And you live in Paris. So you enjoy the nightly illumination of the Eiffel Tower. But then trying to get something to eat in the evening is like so hard. You go there to watch the Eiffel Tower and then you go and find restaurants that are open for you to eat and they're like all closed or all closing. You're like, come on. I don't know, maybe it was a weekend or something, maybe it was a Sunday or something. I don't know why it was, but when we went there, it was like, we need something to eat and everywhere was closing. Yeah, so you drive around the pothole, okay, but then let's say the person who didn't drive around the pothole. Yeah, you drive around the pothole and then you hit another pothole on your right-hand side. You're like, bang, in the pothole, the wheel goes. What do you do in that situation? Okay, you don't have the jack in the back of the car, so you can't. In fact, something similar happened to me. I went to, what were we doing there? I had to go and pick up some sand. My father-in-law sent me to pick up some sand. Is it? Oh, by the way, you need to know if you're in Paris. If you're in Paris, then apparently they say it's illegal to take photos of the tower at night due to the copyright of the designer For the night lights, maybe take a video, because that makes sense, because it's maybe the formation of the lights go like this, then it goes like that, and then, but to take a still photo, that's just the lights. That's just, those are just the lights themselves. I wonder. Well, if they don't tell people, there are people out there every night taking photos. I don't think that word has spread. You know, some places they put like big signs, no photos allowed, and then at least then you know. Some areas of the city, it's legal from the skyline view. The truth is, I'm interested about Kampala, and I'm coming to find some hustle and business opportunities there. Maybe importing and exporting goods. Do you have, just to find out, Penina, do you have access to live on using your mobile phone? Because to do that, you need to have, I think it's a certain amount of subscribers or watches. I don't know how it works. You need to have something to be able to use your mobile phone, or you're going to put your laptop, are you going to walk with your laptop? How are you going to go live when you're going somewhere? Oh, you want to leave? Do you want to leave? It says, I want to live. Kololo is a nice area. Kololo is where all the embassies are, because Gaith Hanachi says he wants to, is searching for an apartment in Kololo. It's where the embassies are, it's where the Kololo airstrip is, and that's where the independence ceremony took place. They took down the Union Jack and they raised the Ugandan flag. You've got Acacia Mall, which is just outside Kololo, but it's kind of in the same area. You've got lots of different restaurants. The import and export business, I think, is very hot here. A lot of people go to China to bring things. People go to Dubai. So I know that the people that travel to Dubai and people that travel to China to import things, especially like, well, I can't say especially because it's not like I know loads and loads of people who do it, but like clothes. And even coming in this time around, there's a lady who was coming from China and she was importing clothes, children's clothing. This is Africa. No, I haven't, because since we've spoken, I haven't been on YouTube much because my data ran out. I ran out of data on my dongle. Then I tried to load up mobile, what's it called? Airtel data something. And it took ages to come on. It took like a whole day. So I didn't have the internet. Then it was my son's birthday on the weekend. We were out in the village, deep. So yes, my internet has not, in fact, today is the first day that I've been really connected. So you've been in Nairobi for you were in Nairobi last September, Gaith. I've never stepped into Nairobi itself. I've been to the airport because flying with Kenya Airways, it takes you through Nairobi. I liked Kenya Airways. That's true. Little vibes. You put your cassava in your kabag, and you'll be like munching away while looking at the Eiffel Tower. Eat your cassava, remind you of home. Yeah, she loves cassava. Airtel, yes, it was Airtel. So I haven't used MTN because I don't have an MTN line. As a foreigner, if you come to Uganda, everyone has to be registered to have a SIM card. Because, well, what I've been told anyways, the reason was because there was kidnapping at some point, and people would like get burner phones, use it, and then use it to call the people to say, oh, if you want your family back. So then they started registering. Everyone needed to be registered with their name and their phone number. And now you're not allowed to get multiple SIMs for the same network. So you could have an MTN line and an Airtel line, but you couldn't have two. You can't have two Airtel lines. To register, you need a national ID. But if you're a foreigner, like I'll be classed as a foreigner, you can use your passport. So that's how it works here. I didn't realize that Kampala was less expensive than Nairobi. So yeah, Nairobi's. I've not really. I don't know. I haven't really kind of been, maybe because I have a reason to come to Kampala and to stay here and explore here, and there's just so much to explore anyway. I haven't really desired to explore Nairobi. Last time I came, actually, I wanted to do the bus tour. I wanted to do a bus from Kampala to Nairobi, and I wanted to see how much it was and whatnot. But if I was going to do that, and because I wanted to be able to sit down and not be driving, yeah, I wanted to be able to look outside and whatnot. But if I did that, I'd be going with the kids as well. So I didn't know how accessible it was for young families. I wanted to know how many stops they made and things like that, rest breaks and those types of things. And also what you do when you get to the other side. Could you do like a day trip? You go look around and then get back to Kampala, or would you have to stay the night, and when does the next bus leave? So I did consider doing sort of a day trip thing. So who's that question to? Ganeth Hanachi, is it me you're asking? I see you're new to YouTube. If it is me, yes, I am. And by the way, what are you looking for in terms of price, accommodation wise, per calendar month and what size accommodation are you looking for? If you put that in the comments as well, then you might be able to get some answers from people who might have contacts or whatnot, or I might be able to help out with that. You've been saying that for quite a while. Thank you very much, Penene, the Grace. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. So yes, I hope anyway from this live. Oh, okay. This is Africa said you have to have a yellow fever card to actually come into to Uganda from the UK, and I believe from anywhere really. You need a yellow fever card, and I've got mine already. My kids have theirs. We got ours while we were here in Uganda, and we went to the city hall in the center, and they have by the courts there, they have a place where you can pay. First of all, you've got to pay, you've got to get a ticket, then you've got to go up to the place, the surgery where they do it. Then they give you the jab, they give you the book, and they write down when you had it. And then you present that at the airport. But they have told me that you can take a picture, and that was 100,000. If you do it in a private clinic like the International Hospital in Kampala, it's like almost double. It's like 160,000, 170,000 shillings. So I just did it with the local council. But yes, it's about 100,000 to get the jab. Oh, euro. Okay, not dollars. They usually work in dollars here. I know the place that I'm in is about $550 per month. And here in Uganda as well, one thing you need to be aware of is a lot of the places you have to pay like 3 months or 6 months rent in advance. So you don't just pay for the 1 month before and the month you're staying. You have to do like chunks. So you need to have that to hand. Unless if you can find a place where they just take it month on month, or if you can find an Airbnb that does, that can balance out as that with that amount. Yeah, $500, I think, yeah, 500, 550, 6, you should be okay, especially if it's just yourself as well. Well, I don't know if you're coming with your family, but if it's just yourself, then you should be able to, find an apartment. And there are lots of agents, but just be wary that no one tries to sell you an apartment that they're not allowed to sell. So don't exchange any money until you've spoken to the person who owns it, so that you're not caught out. Because I know some people have in the past, even the place where I am, they've gone online, they've shown people pictures of the place. They've brought them to the place to have a look because, it's open to agents to come and show people around. And then they've gone somewhere else to somebody else to sign a fake contract, and then they've taken money from the person. And so not at the house, they've gone to a separate location to do all of that. And then the next thing, the person shows up with like, I'm supposed to move in today. And it's like, move in? Who are you? So yes, just be very diligent on your search to make sure that you're actually giving money to the right person who's allowed to do that, sell that place to you. No, yeah, Airbnb daily rate, that's not good. Yeah, you need something more long term. And yes, it's just asking around really and finding somewhere that's free. Sometimes in the malls, they have some posters that have saying, house to rent. Or again, if you know somebody, try and look at Mr. Muzinguzi's. If you scroll up, you'll see his name there. He lives in Kampala, and he'll probably be more aware of like different options in terms of rent. One thing I do know is Kololo will be expensive. Like where I am is expensive as well. The area that I'm in is expensive, and Kololo definitely will be expensive. Yeah, just make sure you get on the ground before handing over money, just to make sure. Or yes, Bukoto, I think it's Bukoto. Ntinda is outside town, but still, in fact, most places are good anyway. As long as you just find what you're looking for, you can easily get around. You can get a taxi. You can easily just get in and around of Kampala. Because, to be honest, really, do you want to be living in the city center? No. So yeah, Kololo is good because it's close to the town as well. What else is on the outskirts? Yeah, Kololo. Bugolobi. If you want to live somewhere like Kololo, then Bugolobi is also a nice place. And they've just opened, for convenience wise, they've just opened a ShopRite. They have a market there, Bugolobi Market. They've got lots of restaurants and street food. Yeah, Bugolobi is actually a nice area. And I know that they've got places to rent because my brother-in-law and sister were living in Bugolobi before. Yes, Bugolobi, that's the spelling. So that's quite a nice place, and it's easy to get to town as well from Bugolobi, so it won't be easy. I mean, it won't be hard to get into town. So Bugolobi is a good place. Yeah, but the only thing with Bugolobi is if you're moving further back into Bugolobi, then that's fine. But then like where my brother-in-law was living, they were like quite near the hustle and bustle of things. So it was like really lively. They could just walk to the market. They could walk to, there's a place called Bamboo's Nest that do really good pork and fish. They do really good fish. And yes, so in those areas, they're right there and then it could be like music and whatnot. But then if you move further out, they're just private restaurants and things like that. But it's still a nice area, really nice area to live in. You're welcome. Any other questions about Kampala before I shut down? I'm going to clock this off at 1:50 in a few minutes' time. Probably by the time you come here, I would have left. When are you coming? Let me look up. Did you say September? Oh no, you were in Kenya in September. When are you coming? Oh, you were in Nairobi last September. So when are you planning to come to Uganda? I'm just trying to see if you set it up there. I can't see. Oh, 30th of August. Yeah, I would have left by then. But I'm just trying to think if there's any kind of like known website for searching for accommodation. I'll see if I can. Yeah, I think most people just use agents. They just get an agent and then they get an agent and then they get the agent. They go around with the agent who can show them the different properties in that particular area that they've chosen. So that's the way to do it, really. Just find an agent and do that. But yeah, I can't think of. Yeah, I can't really think of any site. They might, well, Facebook, I guess. As you said, you found something on Facebook, but Facebook, maybe expats in Uganda. I think there's a site called Expats in Uganda. Oh, thank you. I think I have to hide that because it will do something to the chat if I accept it, but thank you very much. I can't click on yours yet because it won't let me while I'm in the live chat. So 5 minutes left, and then I can. What task am I going to do before I? What task am I going to do before I log off? Let me see. You see, I had my to-do list today, and I had my to-do list today. You too. And I think I've done 8 things out of, no, 5 things out of 7. Oh, so I'm going to do one of them, another one tonight, and get some work done while the kids are sleeping. Thank you so much for joining me. And this has been fun. 46 is counting down. 47. Good night. Have a restful night because it's around the same time there now, isn't it? So until next time. Bonne nuit. And when I went to Tunisia, it was lovely, by the way. It was very hot. I went there on a cruise. I think it was it not just Tunis? Is there a port there? I'm not sure if it landed in La Goulet. From my memory, I think I just remember it. Could it have been Tunis? Unless if we took a bus. No, we didn't take, because I remember we got there and there was like a different, like an island that came through and there were some camels waiting there. Yeah, there were some camels waiting there. So before going into the town, you were able to go on the camels and have a camel ride. And there were some shops that sold like what's the red spice called? Saffron in little round thingies like that. And then how did we get in? I think, maybe we took a taxi? We just took a private taxi, or maybe we went on a bus. I can't remember, but I remember they took us to the ruins. Oh, I can't remember the names. I just remember driving, there was a sign, and they took us to some ruins. And then we went into the market, the main market. And I think that's the sort of the main Tunisian market that they take people to, where there are lots of carpets and spices and just a corridor. Carthage. Oh, does that ring a bell? It was with MSC line, and I think they still go there. So I wonder which part of, okay, MSC, let me Google. MSC cruise to Tunisia. Where does it stop? Because that's gonna bug me now. I think it is the port of call, La Goulet. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, because, oh yes, it is. Okay, yeah. Tunis, La Goulet. You're right, yes. Excursion, the port of the remains of ancient, yes, and the remains of, yes. It was so long ago. You're right, exactly. I've just Googled it. Yes, you are right. Because I remember, because I've just seen now in the picture of the town itself, there was that building with a square and the patterns. Oh my goodness, it was just so beautiful. It was like the mosaic and the designs of the buildings were just like, you walk through the streets and you're like, wow, so rich, so much richness, so much culture. And the designs are just beautiful to look at, just to look at. They're just so nice. And I think we went up to the top of a tower. Went through the street markers and just wandered and got lost, really. But yes, that was just a lovely experience. It was really lovely. And just the fact that there's water there as well. But we were only there for, I think, a day, which was the sad part about it. It would have been nice to have been there longer and be able to sit down at a local restaurant and have food and, because I like that type of experience. Whereas with this, it was like, we're stopping, we're spending the whole day just quick, back on the ship. And no, it wasn't in Tunisia someone got left behind. It was in, I think it was in, the names just popped out of my mind. There was someone got left behind on the cruise. I thought you said you were going to bed. Am I originally from Kampala? No, I'm not originally from Kampala. My husband is Ugandan, but I am originally, I'm not from one place. My mum was from Ghana, and my dad was from Nigeria. So those are my origins. So don't ask me where my kids are from. So I'm half Ghanaian, half Nigerian, born and raised in the UK, spent 5 years in Nigeria, spent 2 years in Ireland. My husband was in Uganda, born in Uganda, left when he was a teenager to the UK, has been there since. So yeah, our kids are human beings, I guess, with roots in different places. Yeah, the UK. So I'll see if I can find any, I don't know, well, it's just agents. If there is something I stumble across, like maybe a website or something. Kids are Nigerian, Ghanaian, British, and Ugandan. That's right. Yeah, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, if I can find anything about rentals or if I see any signs or anything like that, I'll definitely, when I can get onto the other YouTube site, then I will I'll probably put a message in the comments or something so that you can see it, and then you will be able to go to it, but I can't. Oh, which one are you? There are two. There's one with a G, and then there's one with a picture of someone with an American backpack on. There's one with 2 subscribers and one with 0 subscribers. So which one are you? Oh, actually, there's more than one. Oh, I better ask. Hold on. Are you still there? Hello. Where's your YouTube channel? I can't see the picture very well. What's your YouTube channel? Which one is it? Because there are quite a few. Let me go down and see if I can find a picture that looks similar to yours. Don't go. Tell me which YouTube channel. Can you post the picture is? Post me the Brad Pitt is the picture. Let me see. Put your link on here. Let me see if I can find Brad Pitt on here. I can't see Brad Pitt. I've just copied your name and put it into the YouTube search. But I can't see Brad Pitt. I can just see one that has G, and then one that has somebody with a backpack, American backpack. Let me click on the G one and see if there's Brad Pitt on there. No, that's just different games. That's a gaming one, and then let me click this one. That's somebody on a motorbike. Gabbridge T Max. Oh, hold on, let me go back and see. Yeah, put the link, please. And that way, if I've got any information for you about rentals or whatnot, I can, if I'm connected to you, then I can easily find you and just post a message there for you to see. Yes, I know the movie Fight Club. It's got Edward Norton in it, isn't it? Right, that is, I don't know why. I've just put the search in YouTube and I can't find it. So if you put the link anyway, it will help me. I can't see it on my YouTube search. So you're going to have to, right, let me copy that again. No, I still copied it. If you just give me go to your page, go to the top, copy the link, and then post it in this chat. Let me just copy this again and then put it in. But I am about to sign out so that I can get something off my to-do list. No, it's still the same thing. Just 2 things, one with G and one with someone with a backpack. And that's it when you do the YouTube search. So, oh, just go to your channel. Oh, why's that light so bright? Go to your channel, like open another page, go to your channel, and then click on my channel or something, like as if you want to see your videos. Or just go to any of your videos on YouTube. Then at the top, the address bar, copy it, highlight it, Control C. Then in the comments as you're chatting, just put Control V or right click and paste. Highlight it, right click and copy, right click and paste. Oh, you don't have a video for your page. Maybe that's why. Okay, well, if you don't mind sharing your email, you could put your email there. But I don't know, I'm not one for putting emails on public sites. But I can't find you on, Can't find you on just by doing a search on YouTube. Ah, fantastic. Right. It's asking whether I should show it or hide it, but hopefully I can just copy it without showing it. Ah, I'm gonna have to just write it down. And that way, then nobody else has to see your email address. I can leave it private. All right. Oh, hold on. Yes, I can hide it, but I need to write it down first, just in case just in case it cancels when I hide it. Right, I've got it down. Hide. Okay, I've hidden it. What I'm going to do, because I hate procrastinating, right? I'm just going to send you an email right now saying hi from Uganda, right? And that way, okay. And that way you've got a message there. What does it say? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for that message. To be honest, I don't feel like I have the time for YouTube. It's just that when there are real life situations that you feel like other people can identify with, it's a way to get those discussion threads out there. And I'm the type of person that I like. I'm the type of person that I like that interaction and discussion and sort of getting thoughts out there, because it helps you to reflect on life and also to learn from others. So thanks for that. I wonder who the second person is, but I'm going to log off now and I will tell you what I'm going to do off my to-do list. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to write a script for my new show. I'm going to start because that's one thing that I didn't tick off for today. Is that what I really want to do? Yes, because I need to do that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to choose this one to do. And I'll just do one sort of like outline. And then at least I know that I've done that. Then if I've got enough energy, what am I doing today? I've got a meeting tomorrow. I've got a meeting tomorrow. If I've got enough energy, I'm going to do some filing, some labeling. Okay, great. Thank you all. Bye-bye. And it's a shame I can't remember that song about let go. That's going to bug me. That is going to bug me. Let me see what it's called. Oh, yes. Oh, do you know what? And that song is actually kind of the theme of what we're talking about. Nice to meet you. I'm going to sing that song to sign out because it is the theme of what we're talking about what we do in situations that are troubling us or a situation that we found ourselves in. How do we move forward from it? Somebody earlier on said, let go. She lets go. She lets go. She lets go. Goodness, that's a tongue twister. So this is how the song goes. It's going to be hard singing quietly. Soon as I stopped worrying how the story ends, when I let go and I let God have his way, that's when things start happening. When I stopped looking at back then, when I let go and I let God, I let God have his way, let go and let God, just let go and let God, let go and let God, oh, let go and let God, oh, let go and let God, let go and let God, oh, let go and let God. And that's the song. As soon as I stopped worrying how the story ends, I let go and I let God. I let God have his way. That's when things start happening. When I stopped looking at back then, when I let go and I let God, I let God have his way. And that is exactly what we've been talking about. Sometimes you can't control the situation. In fact, most times you can't control the situation, but you can control it in the sense of your mindset, how you change your mindset, how you fix your mindset in such a way that you turn the situation around and you can move forward from it. You know, whether you believe in God or you don't, letting go of the situation, letting go of the situation can help you to see it as it is. Whereas if you're holding it so close, you can't see the full picture. It's too close to it. You're too tired. It's too personal. Sometimes just releasing yourself from that worry, then it gives you that moment to pause and find a way through, find a way out of that situation. So just let go, and I'm gonna go. Good night. How do you stop this? Oh, yeah, sorry, there's a big red button that says end stream.